We're good.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My goodness, I am so excited to be kicking off our 11th, this is our 11th Women in Product Toastmasters Club meeting. And this is our very first open house. We're so excited for this amazing guest turnout, especially from the Women in Product community. Welcome, welcome everyone. So I am your Sergeant at Arms and your VP of Membership. My name is Svetlana Bezinian, and I'm so delighted you're all here with us today. So Marty Kagan, who many of you will know, writes about several product vision principles in his book, Inspired, including the importance of starting with the why, right, in order to articulate your purpose and your North Star. He advises also to fall in love with the problem, not the solution. And this too, this core is because the product vision needs to inspire. And I'm actually going to read this part because I went back to my book and really, it was nice to sort of refresh my memory about this. So the product vision needs to inspire. Remember that we need product teams of missionaries, not mercenaries. More than anything else, it is the product vision that will inspire missionary-like passion in the organization and create something you can get excited about. You can make any product vision meaningful if you focus on how you genuinely help your users and customers. And so we are excited for this meeting to hear more discussion and conversation around this topic of product vision. For our guests joining for the first time, you are muted on entry, but later in the meeting, you can toggle your mic on when you speak. We also encourage you all to please keep your cameras on. We want to engage, see each other, and of course, you can toggle off if you need to. You will also see that there's a chat function. You can chat folks to the whole team or select people's names. Most of you already know how to use Zoom. So the last thing I will mention is that this meeting is being recorded, as it's our policy that by participating in our meeting, you agree that a recording will be available publicly on our YouTube channel and our website, which frequently comes in handy when you later become functionaries in the meeting and need to review something. So at this time, I'd love to introduce you to our president, Erica Tamburo. Erica, over to you.
Thank you, Svetlana. Welcome, Women Product Toastmaster Club members and guests. We're so glad to have you here for the special Women in Product Toastmasters and Club Open House. Today, you'll get the opportunity to learn about our club. Sorry, how we combine product management and the Toastmasters mission. How we create our very own unique vision and mission. Sorry, I'm lost. Pause. Toastmasters may be new to you. It's a worldwide nonprofit educational organization that empowers people to become more effective communicators and leaders. With 364,000 members, more than 16,000 clubs, and 145 countries. Toastmasters International is an effective provider of dynamic, high-value, experiential communication and leadership skills. There are so many benefits. You'll hear about a lot of them today and get to experience them yourself. Our club meets bi-weekly on Sundays at 10 a.m., 1 p.m. if you're on the East Coast. The club is self-paced and hands-on. It provides you with the opportunity to give both prepared and impromptu speeches. You'll see many examples of that today. Today is also a day to celebrate. We are at our 7-month anniversary, the day that the club was sparked. So congratulations to all members and leaders that have got us to the 7-month mark and grown something that we're able to share with our guests today. I invite you all to take a moment to reflect on your accomplishments and to think about your vision for where you want to go next. And I'm now going to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Jennifer Ginsburg. Jennifer.
Hi, great. Thank you so much, Erica. I appreciate the warm welcome. So for those of you who are new to our meetings, I just wanted to give you guys a little preview of what to expect today. So what you're seeing today is one of our typical Toastmaster meetings. And so the way that we formulate this is I'll be walking through, hey, here are some of the additional meeting roles, specialized roles for our group, along with some prepared speeches, along with an evaluation time period. And also we'll have some table topics, and that's really an opportunity for people to have some additional impromptu speaking, right? So if you think about many of us in our day-to-day jobs, we sometimes are asked to do a prepared speech, whether it be a sales pitch, whether it be talking through about our products. And then sometimes we have to be in the moment kind of speaking, right? And those impromptu table topic questions is a time for us to be able to practice. Toastmasters is a great place for us to learn how to communicate well. And, you know, we want to strive for having a safe environment. We're all here to learn together. And so really the format of this meeting today is such that we can learn to practice our speaking skills, which is so vital for many of us in our professional careers. So with that, let's begin. Before we hear from our speakers today, I'm going to invite our general evaluator to give us an overview of what her role is today.
Thank you. Everybody can hear me all right? My name is Rita Barber, and I have the pleasure to serve as general evaluator for the club today. What a general evaluator does is looks at the overall meeting, talks about the different things that worked so very well and why they worked, and opportunities to do it even better. One thing that's important to note in Toastmasters is we are a learning lab. So if you see something that didn't really quite work as well as maybe you thought it should have worked, or the person who did it thought it should have worked, don't look at it as, oh, it just isn't working. It is working, because what we do better in the outside world is a result of what we learn to do even better in Toastmasters. And I will pass it on to our first evaluator, Lori Edwards.
Oh, Rita, I think we're going to go straight to the grammarian if we could.
Sure. All right. Excuse me. Let's go straight to the grammarian then. Amy.
Hi, thank you, Rita. As grammarian, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers and listen carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language as well as outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And the word of the day for today's meeting is aspiration, which means a strong desire to achieve something high or great. An example of using aspiration is, as product managers, we must balance our short-term needs with long-term aspirations for our products. Another example is we must remember the aspirations for our users when designing and building our products. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day, and I will give a grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting, and also report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, Rita.
All right, and our all counter today is Rupa. Rupa, could you tell everyone what you'll be doing?
Sure. Thank you, Rita. Hello, everyone. I'm your R counter for today's meeting. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause fillers by anyone who is going to speak in today's meeting. So during the meeting, I listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including ums, and and also for repeated usage of words or phrases. At the end of the meeting, I'll report the number of times each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Rita.
And then for our timer today, we have Raji. Raji, could you please tell everyone what you'll be doing today?
Sure, Rita. Hello, everyone. Starting on time and ending on time is one of the aims that we target here at Toastmasters. So today my job is to keep everybody on time and note the time taken by each participant and give them feedback by using timing cards when they reach their time. So the green timer card, while any speaker is speaking, will be the minimum time that they have to reach. The speaker should start wrapping up when they see a yellow card, and the speaker is indicated that the time allotted to them is up when I show up a red card. As a timer, I'll be timing the table topic speakers, the formal speakers, and the evaluation. I'll also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the red, yellow, and green cards and denote the specific times when asked for my report.
Perfect. Thank you, Raji. And then lastly, we have our vote counter. Melissa, can you tell everyone what you'll be doing?
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa. As the vote counter, I will be counting all the votes for the best table topic. So you can DM me directly when it's time and just tell me who your favorite speaker is.
Perfect. Thank you, Melissa. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Jennifer, our Toastmaster of the day. Jennifer?
Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving a little bit of an introduction about yourself and your special role. So now I'd like to start with our area in terms of prepared speeches. So our first speaker today is Erica Tamburo. Her speech title is Vision for Women in Product Toastmasters Club. Erica is the president of our Women in Product Toastmasters Club, and she's a multi-passionate woman in technology. As a bioengineer in training, she's worked with healthcare field for the past 21 years, and she's absolutely passionate about working closely with users to identify their needs and create technologies that transform. So today her speech is Vision for Women in Product Toastmasters, and she'll be evaluated by Lori Edwards. Let's welcome Madam Erica Tamburo to the stage.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, for the introduction. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm really excited to talk to you today about vision, to share with you our club vision, how we bring together Toastmasters in product management, and where that vision is taking us, or could take you. All of you have been working on your personal vision, which has led you here today. Some of you have had the opportunity to define a product or a company vision. For some of you, that's a task that's completely new. In any case, as mentioned previously, a good vision statement describes the future as well as the why and the how. It gives you direction, purpose, and helps you stay focused. Great visions inspire and attract others to your brand. I thought it would be fun to share some vision statements that I've found while doing research for this speech. These are from an article on lifehack.com and are all example of different types of vision statements. Can you guess Disney's vision statements? Disney's vision is to make people happy. Just saying that makes me smile. It's an excellent example of a short and inspiring vision statement. Next is Nike, and it's not just do it. Nike's vision statement is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. If you have a body, you are an athlete. This is an excellent example of a quantitative statement. Every athlete in the world. It's quite ambitious. In the past, the vision statement for Stanford University was to become the Harvard of the West. This is a role model vision statement. At one point, you may have had a role model vision statement yourself. Nike in the 1960s was simply crush Adidas. An example of a competitor-based statement. Who knows, you may have also had a competitor-based statement yourself. The last example I'll share is Tesla's, which is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. This is an example of an internal transformation vision statement, and it's also an example of the type of statement that we chose for our club. 7 months ago, we started a club because we wanted to learn. We wanted to grow. Some of us were reeling from the COVID pandemic and wanted community. My personal mission was to create a safe and supportive space to support women in product as they grow. Because that's what I want. I want a place where I can unapologetically grow, where I can ask questions, where I can stumble in the safety of a group of women who kindly challenge me to be better. And that's exactly what happened when I did this project. I pitched a vision, received fantastic feedback, and that took a good product vision to a great product vision. And the club vision for the Women in Product Toastmasters Club, no further ado, is empowering every woman's voice at the table. We invite all women wherever they are in their product career to join us, from senior roles to those transitioning to those brand new. Everyone has a valuable voice to bring to our table. And our table is fun and unique. Product is literally everywhere. All club members, along with club leaders, have been working together to make this club possible. And I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to thank everybody for making the club such a fun place to grow. Together, we've built a club designed to help you elevate your product skills. And there are 6 ways that I'm going to share with you today that we do so uniquely. Number 1, as I've mentioned, all our meetings have a product theme that's woven throughout the meeting. You'll see excellent examples of that today. Our short impromptu speeches of table topics help you practice answering questions on the fly. As a bonus, these questions are excellent interview prep questions. Product skills can be embedded in all Toastmaster learning objectives. You'll see as you move through your projects, you can pick a product theme for all of them. Also unique to our club is our partnership with the Women in Product. This creates even more opportunities to develop speaking and leadership skills outside of the Toastmasters Club, and all while being in service to the Women in Product community. The 5th thing that's unique is that you are surrounded by your peers, all passionate about products. How you take advantage of that is only limited by your imagination. Club meetings and happy hours give you the opportunity to connect. Some members have also had informal skills sharing sessions, interview help, brainstorming for portfolios. And the 6th way is diversity. The diversity of the group is such a strength. Ethnicity, industry, geography, experience. Our strength is that we are a very diverse group, and all that diversity brings different perspectives and learning. The benefit of Toastmasters, I'm going to share 4 benefits today. Number 1 is structure. Toastmasters Club meeting and pathways offer a structure for you to work towards your speaking and leadership goals. We'll see many, many examples today. The 2nd is accountability and encouragement. Your club helps keep you accountable. Our VP of Education will keep an eye on your projects and progress, and encourage you to keep moving. Organically, others will encourage you to, hey, you should give a speech on that. Or, hey, I'd love to learn more about how you do X. The 3rd is feedback. Giving and receiving honest, kind, and constructive feedback is fundamental. And Toastmasters are in service to others as much as they're in service to their own vision. And the 4th is slowing down to speed up. This is my favorite because it's one piece of advice that up until recently I hated to receive. I didn't want to slow down to speed up. You'll set aside time to work on your projects, attend meetings, and what you're really doing is setting aside time to practice. Anyone can give you a list of things you can do to improve your skills, but unless you're practicing them, you won't really refine them and they won't really become second nature. Toastmasters will help you slow down to speed up. In closing, I'd like to share one of my favorite quotes by Ram Dass. We're all just walking each other home. We are all just walking each other home and I look forward to walking alongside you wherever your path is headed. Thank you, guests. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, everyone. Hey, let's give Erica a round of applause. If you could take yourself off mute. She has worked so hard on this speech, and she's really done quite a lot of deep thinking in terms of what is our vision here for women in Toastmasters. So thank you for that. I hope it resonates with many of you as it resonated with me. So thank you so much. The next person I'd like to introduce as our prepared speaker is Liz Barnum. Liz is an accomplished product manager who has a deep passion for exploring customer needs and has successfully worked in different companies, bringing feature functionality to life. She's going to speak to us about why introverts make great leaders. I'd welcome you to the stage, Liz Barnum.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. When you hear the words introvert and leader, do you think they sound like oil and water? That they don't go together? Well, introverts don't have to give up aspirations for leadership because they can have special strengths that make them absolutely great leaders. When I was growing up, I didn't even realize I was on the shy side. I was homeschooled up until 7th grade, so I didn't have a class of peers to compare myself to. That all changed when I joined a real school in junior high. I remember my first day. My English teacher prompted us to introduce ourselves and name a favorite book. Seems simple enough, right? Well, I'd never spoken in front of 30 people before. I was stunned like a deer in headlights, frozen and barely able to breathe. And all I had to do was introduce myself and name a book. I gave my intro as quick as possible and rushed off the stage. Meanwhile, other students seemed to shine in the spotlight and linger. This was where I started to realize there's a spectrum of personalities and I'm on the shy side. And for the next decade, I took this to the extreme. I avoided public speaking as much as possible. But early in my career, I found out just how limiting this can be. Right out of college, I began working as a research analyst at a bank, which was a perfect job for an introvert. Most of the work was analysis and writing. But one evening, my boss's plane was grounded in Chicago due to a snowstorm. And we were just about to publish a major ratings upgrade on a stock we covered. And he needed me to present the upgrade the next morning on the trading floor with all the traders and salespeople at Merrill Lynch. This was hundreds of people. There was a microphone. I was petrified. I prepared a script, fumbled through the presentation, but my nervousness got in the way of the message. This experience made me realize avoidance is not a long-term strategy. In fact, avoiding public speaking is career limiting. The first strategy I tried to overcome this was to emulate people who seemed confident in the spotlight, naturally extroverts. This was easy to do when I transitioned to product management because there's a lot of natural extroverts to watch in this field. But if you've ever tried to change yourself to fit in and get ahead, you'll relate to this because it didn't feel good inside. It felt inauthentic and it was exhausting. I tried this approach for a number of years, but then I had a visceral experience that revealed this really isn't working. I was presenting my annual roadmap to my CEO. He asked a few startling questions, and my extrovert act completely unraveled. My voice started shaking with insecurity, and my nervousness was making everyone in the room uncomfortable. The engineering manager of my team gave me the saddest look of pity, put his hand on my shoulder to stop me from speaking any further, and he took over the presentation. My colleague had to finish a presentation of my work because my speaking anxiety was so distracting. My communication wasn't amplifying my work, it was suffocating it. This woke me up to the need for a much bigger change. Imitation wasn't a strategy. I needed to find tactics that worked for me as an introvert. So as New Year's was approaching, I posed an ultimatum on myself. Either conquer this fear in a way that's authentic to me or find a new job. So in true PM fashion, I had a goal, I just needed an execution plan. So I started my research devouring books and classes on communication, created a list of things to test, and used my coworkers as my experiment playground. I learned to read their body language to see what was working, and I listened to my inner voice to make sure it felt authentic to me. The cycle may sound familiar to you. It's how we test and validate products on our roadmap. But what was new to me is using this process for personal development. This was an aha moment for me, that I need to PM my own personal development just as I do with the product. So through this rapid people testing, I learned 3 big takeaways. So first, there's a story formula, a template of how to best present information to people. It includes a hook to grab attention, a problem, and then a solution. Throughout, it's so important to use visual and emotional language to keep your audience engaged. My second big learning is to find the formats that play to your strengths. I found, hey, I'm not as quick on my feet as some of my extroverted friends are in a live debate. To manage this, I found a few ways to manage the inevitable surprises that come up. And the first is pre-reads, which are a great way to solicit feedback and get questions early. And the second is question stepping, which is a technique to unpack questions into components and play it back to the question asker, which helps clarify confusing questions for everyone and gives you more time to process what's being asked. My third big lesson is to treat delivery of your presentation as a first-class citizen. I'd completely underestimated just how much work great leaders put into preparing the delivery of their content. I assumed they were naturals, but I learned practice can't be overstated, do more than you think you need to, and be aware of language traps for women. Avoid upspeak, don't say sorry, and avoid soft words like hope and feel, and instead replace it with more confident framing, like this is a great opportunity. From these learnings, I created a playbook of tactics that work for me as an introvert. And I can tell you, small changes like these can have a transformational impact. I'm now competent enough at leading in the spotlight that I get volunteered to represent my team. This is a stark difference from needing others to step in to save me from the stage. My big takeaway for you is this: you don't have to be an extrovert to be a great leader. What is important is to find your own style of leadership that feels authentic to you. I encourage you, if you've ever questioned whether you have the personality to lead, stop asking yourself if, and instead ask yourself how. Learning how to lead as an introvert takes courage, grit, and effort, but it's hugely rewarding. I hope you'll commit to challenging yourself to find your leadership style that feels authentic and leverages your special superpowers. Thank you.
You're muted, Jen.
Thank you. Let's give Liz a round of applause for that amazing speech. I think for many people, myself included, as an introvert, you know, public speaking is a really, really tough thing. And it's courageous that Liz has been able to step in and present, you know, why do introverts make great leaders? One of the things I want to do also that I forgot to do last time with Erica is we're going to pause here for a 1 minute. It'll give our evaluators an opportunity to write down some written remarks or awe counters to kind of process what our speaker has been able to present during that last time period. So we'll pause here for just 1 minute and give everybody a chance to reflect on that last speech. Thank you. All right, thank you, Madam Timer. So let's move on to our third and final speaker. Last but not least is going to be Rosie Hernandez. She's an aspiring product manager. and she currently works in sales operations at an e-learning company. Outside of work, she runs the I Am Project, a scholarship and mentoring network she co-founded to support women of color in STEM. Please welcome to the stage Rosie with her speech entitled The North Star. Rosie?
Thank you, Jennifer, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. As many of you know, this month is Women's History Month, a month to celebrate the accomplishments of women who have come before us and paved the way. So to pay homage to them and to tie in our club's monthly theme of developing our vision, I wanted to touch on how we can use our product management skills to navigate our PM careers. To begin, I'd like you all to ask yourself, what is your North Star, specifically when it comes to developing the vision for your own PM careers and Toastmaster goals, whether it be anything from going into product management like myself or taking the next step to become a director of product management. I would love to know afterwards. Now, before we dive in deeper into this question, please allow me to define what a North Star is. In general, a North Star serves as the main vision or objective for a product team. To some extent, the North Star serves as the main vision or objective. To some extent, the North Star is the product vision, since it'll define the purpose of the product, allows for easier flow of decision-making and prioritization of tasks. Additionally, it also serves as a metric of success to measure whether the product vision has been accomplished at the end of the product launch. So when it comes to your own North Star or your own personal career goals, think of it as the product vision for your PM career. Now, when it comes to product management and the work that we do, defining a product's vision can be a little bit different at every single company, right? And it also varies from PM to PM. However, the general consensus here is that there are some insights we need to collect and define before outlining the product vision. Some of these include information on what our product will look like, who the users will be, any potential pain points, and who the cross-functional teams will be. And this is how we also figure out how does the vision affect the product and the business as a whole, right? Similarly, when we set out to define our PM careers North Star, we should consider who our cross-functional partners could be, what pain points we might come across, how our actions could impact our future goals, and so forth. In this case, when we hone in on our PM career goals, we won't be partnering with engineering or data teams. Instead, we'll be partnering with mentors, sponsors, and colleagues. When it comes to pain points, we might not encounter the usual legal, finance, or technical barriers we tend to encounter in product management. Instead, we'll have to figure out how to overcome networking, communication, or other personal barriers. We must also remember that instead of thinking how a product will impact the business in the long run, when we look at the North Star for our personal career goals, we'll have to look at how do immediate goals affect our long-term or North Star within our PM careers, right? In our line of work, it's important for us to define the fundamentals to ensure that the product's visions will be attainable, manageable, and that the product will overall be beneficial to the company. Once we do have that product vision set out, we always turn to our tools, right? So we go to road mapping, Gantt charts, timelines, any other resources that we have. And we are so diligent in making sure that our needs are met, that we set deadlines, OKRs, and so forth. And all of our PMing skills ensure that this helps us build a strong foundation for our product launches and that they won't fail in the long run, right? So that got me thinking, if we're so diligent on making sure that our products are successful, are we giving the same energy to our personal career goals? And so for this month of Women's History Month, I wanted to encourage you all to kind of use those skills from product management and pivot them over to setting your own career goals this month, defining what they're going to be and how you're going to accomplish them. And I realize that we're all in various stages of our careers, that we have family, side projects, and more to balance. But I'd love to encourage you all, again, to set up some time this week or this month to kind of define where you want to head, what your North Star will be, specifically when it comes to PM career goals, Toastmaster goals. And thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. And I believe I'm under time.
You just
Right.
made it maybe just a little under, but that's okay, right? This is a safe forum for us to practice. And, you know, I really want to appreciate your speech, Rosie. How often do we as product managers really take some of those product management skills and apply it to ourselves? And I think the thing that resonates with me with your speech and hopefully with others is that there is a moment in time where there are so many things that are happening in our day-to-day lives. How often do we take that time out for ourselves to chart our own career path? And so thank you for your speech on what is your North Star. Thank you. So we'll take a minute to give our speaker some feedback using the forms provided. We'll do a 1 minute of silence, and then our evaluators can have a chance to jot down some notes to be provided later on during the course of our meeting. All right, thank you, Raji, with our timer. So the next piece that we're going to move forward into is our table topics area. We'll have that opportunity to practice our impromptu speaking. I'd like to invite to the stage our table topic master, Tanya.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah.
So the goal of the table topic session is to challenge us to improve our impromptu speaking skills, to give us the opportunity to formulate a structured answer to a question on the spot. So I will ask a question, I will pause for a few seconds, and then I will pick someone to answer. That speaker will have 1 to 2 minutes to respond to the question. To make this a little fun, we ask all participants to vote for the best table topic speech. So what you'll do is after each speech, after all the speeches are done, you'll send a private message to our vote counter, Melissa Moore, and you'll just let her know who your vote is for the best table topics of the day. Just a note that members can be called upon to answer any of the questions. However, for guests, while we encourage everyone to participate in this fun part of the agenda, please let me know if you this is for guests, if you definitely do not want to be called upon. I'm going to ask 3 questions, 2 will be for members, the last one will be for a guest. If you do not want to, please just message me privately on the chat and I will have a chance to look at that. So for our first question, did you know that Colgate, yes, the toothpaste, launched a line of frozen meals in 1982? Cheetos launched Lip Balm in 2005, and the magazine Cosmopolitan launched their own brand of yogurt in 1999. While these are really good examples of brand expansion failures, how important do you feel brand is when creating a product vision? And for this, I would like to ask Svetlana to answer. You're on mute, Svetlana. There
It
you go.
looks like I can't add myself to be spotlighted, but can you repeat the 3 examples you gave? I'm just curious.
So Colgate the toothpaste launched frozen meals.
Yep.
Cheetos launched a lip balm, and Cosmopolitan launched yogurt. So how important do you think the brand is to your product vision?
Thank you. So FYI, for folks joining as guests who have never been to a Toastmasters, I believe we have 2 minutes to answer, correct? 1 to 2 minutes.
1 to 2 minutes, yep.
Great. So how important is brand to a product vision? So I believe that it is quite important, right, to stay focused on product vision. But I will make a distinction, especially since I came across this as sort of a refresher when I was doing some research for for the topic of product vision, which was product vision and a company's or a brand vision are 2 separate things. A company's vision or a brand's vision is more high level, more broad, more aspirational. A product vision might be more focused, just for something that's attainable for that product. And I think there is nothing barring, in my humble opinion, that there's nothing barring a brand from expanding into completely different verticals, right? However, what's important is that those verticals all somehow build up and into the broader brand vision. I'll give you one example. I recently interviewed for a company that is the umbrella company for many bicycle brands. I'm really into cycling, but they also make baby products. And I think there is nothing wrong with that, as long as the brands themselves, whether it's the design of the brands or the sort of the ultimate concepts and values of those product lines, all sort of branch up to or build into the broader brand vision. Thank you.
Thank you, Svetlana. So keeping on the theme of brand, and I'd like to credit our Toastmaster today, Jennifer, for this next question, because I think it's fantastic. Everyone has a brand, and your personal brand is your own product. Why have you chosen Toastmasters to help you in defining your brand? And I'm going to ask Lori to answer this question.
That is a great question. For me, I would say I chose Toastmasters to help my personal brand because as a product manager, we are forced to speak all the time. Sometimes we're asked to speak, and it's something that I have anxiety with because I am an introvert. Thanks, Liz, for all of your great tips. So it's something that got presented to me, and when I did some research on it, it aligned with where I'm trying to go as a person and just continue making myself a better speaker, as well as a place and environment to meet women who are like me and provide that safe space where I can try new things and talk to you all and get that feedback where it's not at work. So I've definitely been in the position where you're put on the spot at work, you say something that you probably shouldn't have said, and then it's like super awkward and you never get that feedback, or the feedback you get is more of a ramification of what you said. Whereas here, Toastmasters seem to align with what I wanted to do in terms of becoming a better speaker, but also learning from people who have been in those situations before, so I can learn how to better handle myself. So here I am with you all. I hope all of our guests want to be a part of this club too. And here's to us all bettering our self brands.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, the last question I have is very something we've all experienced over the last year, but so product visions should evolve and be updated as your product grows, as your things change in your ecosystem. So what do you think Zoom's vision was before COVID, and how do you think their product vision has changed now that we're post-COVID and they are just so integral to our daily lives? And for that, let me just do a quick check of my opt-outs here. I'm going to ask Minal to answer.
Hello, thank you. So yeah, that's a really great question. And just to give you a little bit of background, at the time before COVID, I worked for a startup type environment and we were using Zoom before COVID. So I want to say that their vision was probably targeting smaller companies that needed a free tool to just communicate. I mean, it's a tough question. And then I guess post-COVID, it's a lot of like how to allow for remote working to be more streamlined and functional, I guess, would be the post-COVID vision.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, we can clap that, yes. Okay, so reminder to everyone to please vote for your favorite table topics responder, and just to Melissa Moore in a private chat. And now I will hand it back to Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Tanya. I appreciate that. What a great table topics session. And it's, again, just impromptu speaking. So now we'll move to our third part of our meeting where we'll get that feedback on our participation. And in thinking about what we've heard so far with our prepared speeches, evaluation section, please help me welcome our general evaluator, Rita, to the stage, and she'll walk us through some of those next steps. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Jennifer. And yes, now's the time where we take a look with a little bit of a microscope at what we've done so that we can do the things that we did great again, and that we consider other options for the things maybe that were not so great. We'll first look at our speakers. We have designated evaluators for each speaker. Speaker number one will have as her evaluator, Lori Edwards. Lori, please take it away.
Thank you, Rita. So today I am evaluating Erica's speech on the Women in Product vision. And first, let me say that it was aspirational. So I enjoyed that vision. I'm excited to be a part of it as well. And it left me feeling inspired. I will also say, I think this is your second or third speech, and your confidence has skyrocketed since that very first one. So that is so exciting to see. And also your body language. I know that's something that you've talked about working on, but today your body language was awesome. And it wasn't distracting like it was on our first speeches that we all did. So you did such a great job. So I'm excited to see you keep excelling with that. Also, the structure of your speech was well defined, and you provided some really great examples, and you researched the topic, but you also gave us all these different ways that you can create a vision. So that was really great to see and hear and learn about. The last thing that I have written down that you excelled at was your pace. So it wasn't slow, but it was just the right pace. And the pauses were well placed to get us thinking about the things that you said or the questions that you asked. So that was really great. For things to work on, one thing that I noticed is that occasionally your tone would kind of trail off. So you would get really quiet. So something to just kind of keep in mind as you do more speeches is staying level so we can all hear you. Could also be a mic thing. With Zoom, who knows? And also keep working on your eye contact and your notes. So that is better. We're all practicing that, and it's really hard, but it's something that I want to challenge you to keep working on. And then the one thing I have for you to challenge yourself with is something that Liz actually said in her speech afterwards, is as women, we tend to say sorry when we mess up. And that's something that I wrote down that you were doing when you would make a mistake. Honestly, from our perspective, we don't know that you even messed up sometimes. So I challenge you to not say sorry and to just keep plugging along, maybe take a pause and just, yeah, keep going with it, and don't apologize. We're all here to learn, and you definitely don't need to say sorry to me. I just want to see you keep growing and doing a great job. So great job, Erica. Back to you, Madam Rita.
Thank you very much, Lori. That was definitely an aspirational evaluation. Our second evaluator will be Svetlana. Svetlana, come on up.
Hi there, Erica. I made you host so you can change the spotlight. Just click the three dots, right click on Lori's face. All right. Awesome. Oh, wow. Now I get to see myself. All right. Liz, I am obsessed with your speech. Love it, love it, love it. Some of us have been lucky enough to hear it before. This is actually also the topic that Liz will be speaking about in the next Women in Product Conference, which we are all super jazzed about. So I think, each time that I've heard it, I am reflecting more and more about, just what works super well and a few components that you might just sort of take on as a challenge. So for one, just to say it explicitly, one of the things I love is that there are several stories wrapped up into the sort of bigger story. And that actually makes it so engaging, right? Because you use all these visual and imagery sort of references that give us a visceral experience as well of, the experiences that you've had that have built up into this kind of life learning. So storytelling is one. Two, structure. I think that your presentation is extremely clear. That's one of the biggest strengths of it, is the structure. And you actually, in the second half of the presentation of the speech, you talk about, getting that formula and template to a speech. This is a key thing for anyone sort of practicing public speaking. And when you first uncover this, it's like a discovery for, I think, a lot of us, when we sort of put up on pedestals great speakers and then realize, oh, there's a formula for this. This is teachable. And so I think also it's reflected in your structure. And finally, I just really love the encouragement at the end. It made me really want to almost go back and just jot down each of those takeaways, right? And make sure that those are engraved, or that I go back and talk to you again just to kind of get more detail, because they're just so actionable. So again, and that's just a few things, right? But I love the speech. A few things to sort of challenge yourself on. And I relate to these challenges myself, because I think there is a lot of content that you're trying to present. And so one thing that you might want to do when you present it, in a live setting or in a bigger setting, is to maybe slow down. And in order to slow down, it might require cutting some of that glorious content. And I know it's going to be tough, but one way maybe I would suggest trying it is, if you try to memorize it, or if you try to sort of memorize the key ideas and then practice saying those, or saying the speech that way, you might realize that some of the things get filtered out and are just less important. Anyway, so yeah, just slowing down and maybe cutting a little bit, but really just talking to the audience a little bit more, a little less reading. Otherwise, incredible speech. Thank you so much. Best of luck at the Women in Product Conference. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Svetlana. And now we have for our third speaker, Olena. Olena, come on up and share your thoughts.
Hello, everyone. Rosie, I should congratulate you on your second speech. I already see an improvement comparing the first speech and the second. It was a fantastic speech. I really enjoyed it. I really liked your opening. You asked all of us, so we all can be engaged with the speech, what is your personal North Star? And it's a fantastic way of opening is for everyone to open a speech, to ask a question, to put a quote out there, to kind of grab the attention of the audience. And you did a good job with that. I want to emphasize that it's more than important that the audience can actually relate to your speech, and you made it very relatable to all of us, which is fantastic. Your secret weapon is your smile, I must say. It's adorable. I mean, anytime you're unsure about something or you're not sure what's happening, just smile. I'm pretty sure it's going to erase all the doubts. And I was like, I didn't know if you're nervous or not. I'm pretty sure you were, but that smile, that's your weapon. So use it wisely, but I mean, it's not, just use it more. I would say it's fantastic. It just helps you, I think, to smooth it out, to put you at ease personally, and to us it looks very, very good. Another thing that I want to challenge you on, try to use more gestures in your speech. Don't be shy. I know we're a little stiff. It's your second speech and we're all learning. This is why we're here, obviously. I'm learning to be an evaluator as well right now. But I think you're gonna benefit, because as you become more confident, your gestures actually help you and help your audience to relate to your speech as well. Something that I really want to take away from Lori's evaluation is don't say sorry. This is a very great point for you. Don't mention that, oh, I'm a little bit under the time. No one cares. We're all learning. And the main point is you challenge yourself, you prepared the speech, you made an effort, and no matter how long it is it over, is it under, the main purpose is the practice. That's why we're here. According to my personal experience, a couple meetings ago, I was a contest chair. I thought everyone knows that I was like dead nervous. And then I get comments in private being like, oh, can you teach me how not to be nervous at all? And I was like, great, that works. So just pretend everything's great. You did a fantastic job, and you did. So just put it that way. No one knows what's the proper way. I mean, in this environment, it's all fantastic and it all works. And I'm sure that everyone is gonna take your advice and contemplate a little bit over this weekend about their career goals. Thank you for your advice. I really enjoyed the content of your speech. It's very deep. It's very powerful. Thank you for doing that. And we're all gonna probably even contemplate on our personal goals, which is very important for all of us. So thank you for a speech that everyone can relate to, and a perfect example on how your second speech can be that great. Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you, Elena. Great evaluation. Now let's hear from some of our other functionaries. We have a grammarian, Amy Kirkland. Amy, could you please share your grammarian report?
Yes, thanks, Rita. So several people used aspiration in their speeches or or different versions of it. Liz used aspirations for leadership in her speech. Jennifer used the word aspiring in one of her introductions. Svetlana used aspirational, as well as Lori and Rita both used aspirational. Additionally, on some of the speakers used some great phrases that I wanted to call out. Erica, she used the phrase unapologetically grow in talking about this being a place for Toastmasters being a place for her to unapologetically grow, which I thought was really great. Liz used a few different things, but that I enjoyed, but I think one I wanted to call out was she talked about being the PM for your own personal development, which I thought was great and good for all of us to think about. And Rosie had a phrase, she talked about giving the same energy to our personal career goals, which also I thought was really good for all of us to think about. And that's everything. Thanks, Rita.
Thank you so much, Amy. All right, all counter, Rupa.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, so the first speaker is our Toastmaster. I noted 5 R's and 3 ums. She also used, repeated the word, a couple of times. Erica had 3 R's and a couple of repeats of words such as transition, transitioning. So there was some repeated word usage. Liz did not have any R's or ums, so that was great. Rosie had 4 R's and 1 1 so, and a couple of repeated phrases were repeated. Tanya had 3 R's, 5 ums, and 1 so. Svetlana had 8 R's, 5 ums, and at least 4 so, usage of so in between sentences. So that was a little higher usage. She also had a couple of repeat words. I think it was was repeated a couple of times. Lori had 2 R's, 2 ums, and 4 so's. She also overused the word and a little bit more. Meenal had 1 R and 3 ums. Alina had 1 R and 5 ums and 1 so. Amy had a few R's and ums in her grammarian report. So it was more than 5 R's and ums. So that's my report for today. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Evaluator.
Thank you, Rupa. Very thorough. I appreciate that. All right, Raji, timers report.
Sure, Rita. So looks like most of our speakers and evaluators were on time. So beginning with our prepared speakers, Erica timed at 7 minutes, 10 seconds. Liz timed at 6 minutes, 33 seconds. Rosie almost qualified at 4 minutes, 59 seconds, but I'll give her 1 second extra. For our table topic speaker, Svetlana was timed at 1 minute, 55 seconds. Lori at 1 minute, 34 seconds. Meenal at 52 seconds. So ideally for a table topics contest, she would not qualify. Then our evaluators, Lori was timed at 2 minutes, 25 seconds. Svetlana at 3 minutes, 35 seconds. Again, a miss in case if it was a contest. And Olina was timed at 3 minutes, 10 seconds. So that's my timers report for today.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Raji. All right, and now I'm going to share with you my general evaluators report on the overall meeting. It's very interesting, but one of the things that's you just can't take for granted is preparing for a meeting beforehand on the Toastmasters part is so important, because it makes all the difference between a meeting that goes along and a meeting that flows and flies and works extremely well. Jennifer did such a great job preparing for this meeting today, reaching out to people, double checking with people, making sure who would be doing what, making requests. Even when we came in, she said to us, hey, can you put down what you're going to do in front of your name so people know what's what? This is leadership. This is leadership bar none. And it's something definitely you learned as being the Toastmaster. It's also the style in which it was done, which was very professional, very friendly, the sort of thing that you would expect from someone who's being the Toastmaster of the meeting maybe many times and now has this like at the back of her hand. But this is her very first time, unless she belonged to another club. Jennifer, did you belong to another club?
I did, but I was never a Toastmaster before. So this was my first time.
Well, you just did an exemplary job. It was just done so very well. it was a pleasure to sit through it. I just really enjoyed that quite a bit. I love that we started on time. That's essentially the norm with this club. And it's such a personal big deal to me. Believe me, if you guys started late, I'd be on that every single time. But I just love that you start on time. It just makes my heart so happy. Everybody will be happier for it because when we commit to our time, we want to see that that time commitment is honored on both sides. And you definitely see that here, which is wonderful. Let's see. There's a couple of things that need to be looked at. There's too much chatting going on during the meeting, and it's easy to do. It's one of the things that we need to learn in a Zoom environment. If you're chatting, it's almost the same as whispering if you're in a club meeting all together. Now, there are some things where it's essential and it has to happen. As an example, if Svetlana has to change as being a host, where she has to say something then, or certainly when we put the agenda on there that people know to reach for it. But a lot of the chatting that's going on there is not necessary. It can wait till a different time. Everybody's attention needs to be on what's going on in the meeting. And it's easy to not do that. I'll admit it for myself, but we really need to work at it. It's also important that for the table topic speaker to be zoomed in on rather than the table topic master. Does that make sense? Because I was noticing that we had the wrong people at times that were zoomed in. Now, of course, you can change that yourself on your end as the end user, but it would be nice if it was on correctly. I hope that makes sense. And if by any chance anything that I'm not saying or whatever I say is not making sense to you, please just raise your hand and let me know. Go for a smaller functionary, table topic master. You went for a evaluator. And there's a couple of good reasons why you wouldn't go for evaluator. You called on Lori. For one thing, evaluators may still be working on their evaluation report. So it's good for them to be able to focus on that rather than table topics. And for another thing, we do have some functionaries that have lighter roles that would definitely have, done well having an opportunity to respond to a question. Apologies. There are no apologies needed anywhere. I'm so glad one of our evaluators, if not two, brought that up. There are no apologies anywhere, not even when you're an evaluator and you're feeling like, uh-oh, I'm going to say something here, don't feel that way. It's great. You are giving a person a gift when you can show them something that maybe they did that they could do differently. You are giving them a gift, but don't forget the second part of the gift, which is what would you suggest they do instead? If, as an example, I did something like stumbling all over my words and everything, and you would say, Svetlana, you would say, you stumbled all over your words. It was really kind of weird. Just say instead, hey, I know that you stumbled on your words. Maybe if you took a deep breath and relaxed for a minute, it would help you so that you wouldn't do that. Well, now you've given me a solution to what my issue is, and that's very valuable. The value within evaluations is twofold. Of course, for the person being evaluated, they learn how to become even better the next time that they speak in any environment that they speak in, because this will always be in the back of their mind, even if it's not in the forefront. And it's also for you, because this is a leadership skill as well. In fact, I think speech evaluators is one of the best leadership tools that we can learn, because we are learning how to share valuable feedback, positive and negative, in a way that people don't leave coming after you. You know what I mean? The feeling like, oh, that's Svetlana, oh, she made me mad. It's nothing like that. All right. Sorry to pick on you so much, Svetlana. I just see you right there. Having a little bit of fun there. Let's see. We call them double clutch words. When somebody repeats a word twice, that we call them double clutch. So that's sometimes what we'll just say. You had two double clutches with whatever it is. So you might want to think about that. It's something that you could use. Most importantly, when you're doing the speech evaluations, here's the number one thing I want everybody to think about, because at some point or another, you're going to evaluate somebody, whether it's in Toastmasters or it's outside of Toastmasters. Always end with the thing you love best. Always end with the thing you love best, because then you are leaving both yourself and the person you evaluated on a high note. And that's very valuable to do. All in all, this was a very, very good meeting. And I tell you, I'm glad you recorded it, because I think that there are things to look at again and say, we want to do that over and over and over again, as well as maybe a couple of things that you might say, we need to make an adjustment there. But this was one of the most valuable meetings that you could have recorded, in my humble opinion. So good, well done, just loved it. And I'm going to turn it back over to Jennifer. Where's Jennifer? Jennifer.
I'm right here. Thank you so much, Rita, for your wisdom, your expertise, your coaching of this club, and many of our members here today. Before we kind of tie out, there is one other thing that we need to do. We need to get our vote counter to be able to tell us who was our table topics winner of the day. So we had 3 speakers for our table topics. And I'd like to turn it over to Melissa Moore to help tell us who was our big winner today.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Melissa. Yeah.
Everybody did a wonderful job on the impromptu table topics. Thank you to Svetlana, Lori, and Minal for their courage and aspiration. The winner for the Best Table Topics Award is Lori. So let's give her and everyone who spoke today a round of applause. And I'm going to hand it back to Jennifer.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Melissa, for counting up those votes ad hoc. And congratulations, Lori. I know we just talked about being a table topics participant and being an evaluator, and you managed to pull it off. So thank you so much, Lori. So I'd like to close some of this here in terms of our meeting today. I hope you had a clear understanding of how our club operates. And I hope that you guys had a little bit of fun during our open house. Again, I think that you'll see that we're a group of women that are really trying to aspire to not only learn and grow within our product management roles, but also be able to speak and take some of those leadership opportunities that maybe are not as readily available in your own local context, in your own professional careers. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to our president to help us close out some of this meeting and just take care of some additional club business. So I would invite to the table our president, Erica, if you would like to walk us through some of our closing.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
Fantastic job today. Also, thank you to all our guests for attending. I hope you enjoyed today's open house. Thank you to all of our speakers. Liz and Rosie, fantabulous, that's not a word, fantastic the speeches today, all with really great takeaways. And to everybody that participated in table topics, and Minal for being our fearless guest today, and willing to give that a try. We are all here trying new things constantly. What better example is to have a guest try something new? Svetlana, do I have? Yes, okay. I am going to share just a couple of slides. We don't usually do slides, but I'm going to make an exception and share with you just a couple of slides to help you. It's not what I kind of learn just a little bit more about the club. This is a word cloud that club members made, just to kind of give you a little bit of feel, a little bit of extra feel today about what pops out when people think of Toastmasters and our club. This was something really fun to do. I hope we continue to do this often, but product, safe, practice, career, and support really popped out from people's feedback. And I look forward to continuing to have that focus with the club. I wanted to share just a little bit about a Pathways learning experience. We mentioned it a couple of times today, Pathways, and I wanted to make sure it was clear to guess what that means, Pathways. So Toastmasters has an educational program. So we're not only here just doing speeches, all the speeches are part of a pathway that we've chosen. So depending on your aspirations and your personal vision for where you want to move forward, each Toastmaster selects a pathway. My pathway is visionary communications, so my vision speech today was part of that pathway. There are 5 main competencies: public speaking, interpersonal communication, strategic leadership, management, and confidence. And all the pathways combines that a little differently. So what happens when you sign up to be a Toastmaster, you get 1 free pathway. If you're not sure which pathway is right for you, they have this nifty little survey that you can take and it'll give you suggestions on what pathway you might want to choose. You're free to choose whatever you want, but that is a kind of a neat little tool. And along the way, you have tasks that you can make product themed to your heart's content. Our VP of Education, Elena, helps keep an eye on your progress and give you encouragement. Is there to answer any questions you might have regarding Pathways program. And it's all managed within Basecamp. So it's easy to move through. So what happens is you choose a pathway such as visionary communication. I have a task, which is a speech on vision. I schedule my speech with Elena, our VP of Education. I get feedback from my evaluator. I refine my speech and I'll present it again in a couple more months based on that feedback. And that's how you move through the educational program of Toastmasters. So I'm gonna stop sharing. We are all happy that you joined us today. I'm gonna pass it off to, I had one more slide. Oh, I apologize. I'm not apologizing. One more thing I do want to talk about today is our partnership with Women in Product. As you all know, Women in Product is a fantastic community, and it's no surprise that people that are funneled into this group are equally as fantastic. That forum is great for getting advice and giving back as well. So it's no surprise that Women in Product were ecstatic about our Toastmasters Club, and we've been able to make a partnership with them. Some benefits of that are that one of our leaders each year is invited to participate on the Women in Product Conference Board. So a little bit of incentive to being a leader in the club. Also, we have a dedicated speaker slot at the Women in Product Conference. In case you didn't catch it earlier, Liz was our contest winner this year. And we are very excited that she will be in the conference. So look for Liz. And we have one more program that's really exciting. That's a new speaker evaluation program where we take our Toastmaster leadership skills and evaluation skills and evaluate fledgling speakers at the Women in Product Conference to give them some feedback and help them grow as well. So a reminder to any club members that are interested in volunteering, each evaluation takes about 15 minutes of your time. So if you would like to volunteer, please let me know. Yeah, so that is an overall view of our club, and I am excited that you all are here, and I'm going to pass it to Svetlana, our Sergeant at Arms today, who runs the meeting, and who is also our VP of Membership. So you've gotten emails from her. So thank you again, everybody.
Thank you. Just a moment. Got my screens a little. Awesome. All right. So yes, thank you all again. I cannot say enough how thrilled that we are to have this community coming together to support us all in thriving as powerful communicators and leaders. We want all our members to feel confident that their goals remain aligned, supported, and advanced through their membership. And so to this end, I will be emailing all of our guests a package of information, including club and Toastmasters information, some of which has been mentioned, but also more details, as well as our club membership application instructions for those interested now or at a later time. So, Rita?
Hi, I'm just wondering, could we find out if any of our guests have questions right now today? And if any of them would like to share their thoughts from having been in the meeting.
That is coming right up.
Perfect.
Awesome. So the information I will be emailing to all our guests who are joining today will be mostly straightforward. Some of it will be a recap, as I said, of what you've heard today, as well as some additional details. I will also be hosting open coffee chats over the next few weeks, the dates and times of which I will let you know about, basically for people to drop in with any further questions. Today, we are going to be closing in just a moment this meeting, but we will the leadership team will stay on for 15 to 30 minutes. So for anyone who has questions, who wants to discuss any details today, please stay on with us and we will get to all your questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining. I will be stopping the recording, but as I said, if you would like to remain in the meeting to ask questions, please stay on, and we can't wait to see and speak to you all soon. Thank you all. Give yourselves a big round of applause. I think we did it all in under 90 minutes, which is pretty amazing. Did we do it?
We did. And I would also just say, hey, you know what? Like Toastmasters is a team sport, right? There are just so many people here who had their special roles, helping out to get last minute, logistics solved. It's a team sport.